When it comes to learning a new language, there are always some difficult things as well as easy things. We usually pay attention to the difficulties of learning, to how hard it is to memorize the new words, to understand the grammar, and we tend to ignore the easy things, the cool things. For example, when you are learning English, you must feel the relief to discover that it has no grammatical gender. And if you learn German right after learning English, you may notice one of the many cool things about the language, which is reading, because most of the words are pronounced the same way they are written. And you think, cool. And then you check Portuguese to discover that you need no auxiliary verb in front of the sentence to create a question. And then you get interested in Korean and you're like, wow, what a nice alphabet. It's pretty easy to remember. Don't get me wrong. Unfortunately, I can't speak all of those languages. But I used to be interested, and it was enough for me to understand that each language has some cool things about it, and Ukrainian is not an exception. So, what are the cool things about Ukrainian? And what are the most difficult things? The cool thing number one is actually the word order. It's not that strict as in other languages. You can say this and you can change the word order and say this or this, and all the options will be correct. Some of the options would sound more natural than others, but still you'll be understood. The cool thing number two. In Ukrainian, to read and pronounce the words correctly, it is enough to know the alphabet because you can basically say what you see even if you don't know what the word means, which is also great. The cool thing number three. There are only three tenses in Ukrainian: past, present, and future, which on one hand is a good thing because it's easier to remember, but on the other hand, you get some other difficulties as a bonus. The cool thing number four. There are no auxiliary verbs in Ukrainian. You don't need them to create interrogative or negative sentences. You don't need them to speak about the future or the past. The cool thing number five. There are no articles in Ukrainian, which could be a bad thing in some cases, but on the other hand, it still makes Ukrainian easier to learn. Or not. I guess it depends on your native language as well. The cool thing number six. You're gonna like it. In Ukrainian, there is no table of irregular verbs. There are many other tables though, and sometimes it may seem that every verb in Ukrainian is irregular to some extent, but yeah, we are going to discuss this in the next lessons as well. So, what about the most difficult things? One of the things that definitely can make you struggle is the cases in Ukrainian, because there are 7 of them, and it's not only the nouns that have them, there are adjectives, pronouns, numerals as well. But don't worry, we are going to figure it out. Genders. Ukrainian nouns, adjectives, numerals have a grammatical gender. So a book in Ukrainian is she, and a table is he. Thank God there are no articles in Ukrainian, because they could have a gender too. Verb conjugations. There are 2 conjugation groups of verbs in Ukrainian, which can also make you struggle. But nothing is impossible, right? So, what cool things and difficult things do other languages have? Let's share in the comments. And if you want to continue learning Ukrainian with me, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.